Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is Monday, January 9th, and this episode is brought to you by my fantastic sponsor, El Cajon Harley. El Cajon Harley Davidson, located down in Southern California, my favorite Harley shop. They've been sponsoring this podcast for over 6 months. Big comedy fans there, big rock and roll fans, and big motorcycle fans. No better place to go. Friendly dealership. All the people there rock. Go see my boy Greg Riley. Get yourself a brand new motorcycle or a used bike. They can get you financed or maybe get your bike serviced. I'm getting my bike right now. I'm getting a 114 kit put in right now as we speak. I can't wait to ride this thing. Beefing up the motor. It's going to have 38% more power. 38% more power. Posted some photos on my Instagram. Check it out. These guys are rocking it, man. Redoing my motor, putting some ape hangers on my Road King. Maybe you just want to fix up your old bike. Go in and see El Cajon Harley. Check them out. They got helmets, gloves, boots, all kinds of motor clothes stuff. You're going to love it. Also, we're going to be doing an El Cajon Harley night at the La Jolla Comedy Store February 3rd. So come out for that, the 10 o'clock show, a little bike night at El Cajon Harley. Thank you, El Cajon Harley. I love you guys. Check them out, guys, on Instagram or elcajonharley.com or Facebook or Twitter. Give them some love. Tell them I sent you. Living on Roca Drive, sitting here wasting time, a kid with nothing to do. Drag on a cigarette, wait for the sun to set, another day wasted away. Stuck in the living room. All right, guys, let's get into the episode today. It is Monday, and I am ready to rock. How are you guys? How was your weekend? Had an interesting weekend. Had some great shows at the store all weekend, that is. And then went and saw an old favorite band of mine from back in the day, back in the San Francisco Stone Broadway days. I went and saw Vane. And that might not be maybe your cup of tea, or maybe you do love old school glam rock or whatever. But everybody has that band that they loved growing up seeing live. I had quite a few of those bands from the San Francisco scene. I always loved Roadrunner, Le Mans, Vane. San Fran had so many great bands. Even early on, you know, Greg Ken, 415, Y&T, all that stuff. So I went to go see Vane Friday night at the Whiskey, and it was, I've known those guys all my life, and it was just awesome to see. Each song they were playing was just like a fucking time machine to me, man. Just blasting me into memories. Like, oh, God, this song, I forgot all about it. You know, it was just awesome. And that was a great time. If you get a chance to see Vane, I think they're playing the M3 Festival. Don't miss it. And check out their records on iTunes. And the one record, No Respect, is not on iTunes, but you can hear that on YouTube. Check it out. Good to see you guys. My boy Joel was playing in Vane. He used to play in my band, Joel Proto, on the lead guitar. They're playing Charvels. I was losing my mind. The old Charvels, the San Dimas ones. Fucking just right there, Jamie Scott, lead guitar. Just playing fucking Charvels, man. No cooler guitar other than a Les Paul, you know. That just means rock to me than a Charvel. Sure, I love Fender. I worship the Tele. I think it's one of the best guitars ever made, and the Strat. But if you want to get into rock, it's Les Paul or a Charvel to me. And man, those guitars really went hand in hand with glam and strip rock, old Hollywood rock. You know, every band other than GNR, was playing Charvel and Jackson. It was just awesome, man. And those guitars, they go for money now. Big money. And that's during the era where people are just rowdying and fucking everything up. So if you can find a good, clean San Dimas Charvel, you are in luck, man. Joel was telling me about some guy that told him that he had like 40 of them or something. Oh, I'd like to talk to that guy. Just awesome Charvel collection. I got a great book. There's like a pretty good fucking book came out, I think in like early 2000s. Just got the history of Charvel. Pretty badass. Anyway, it was great. Great to see Vane and get a little memory lane there. What else is happening? It's raining like crazy on and off in California. I was talking about it last week. It's still fucking raining, which is so unusual. Rain, then it doesn't rain, then it rains. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. As soon as it gets all said and done, I will be hitting Yosemite this year because you're going to be seeing some of the biggest waterfalls ever. That's for damn sure. If you've never been to Yosemite, this is a good time to go after this snowpack because when that shit melts, it's going to be magic, man. That is God's country up there. I can't wait to see that. One last thing before I get into my guest. A lot of people asked over the years, where can I get your music? And I finally put it up on iTunes. I can't even believe I did it. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to put it up there. And boom, it's on iTunes. Dean Del Rey, Lone Mountain Serenade. If you want to check it out, buy the CD or whatever you want to do, the download. It's up there. And that was one of the songs at the top of this intro here. That's on the record. And felt good. Just put it up there. I mean, it put the record out. I couldn't believe it. I was filling in the info. And if anybody asked me, like, hey, when that record come out? I go, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Just everything's like that. I've been doing comedy now 7 fucking years. So it was way, way before that. But I had no idea. It was 17 years ago. Which just fucking blew my head off as I was putting down the year. I was like, 17 years ago, I put this fucking record. I can't even believe it. 17 years, man. Anyway, it's up there. Enjoy. And thanks for all the people that have been emailing me. Loving it. There it is, a chapter in my life. That you can check out. And one thing I realized by listening to the record, that I was fucking still proud of it. There was no cringe-worthy moments. It wasn't like, oh, God, oh, this song or whatever. I loved all the songs. It flowed great. The artwork is amazing. I really looked into it. I looked at it, I hadn't even thought about that shit for years, so it made me even think more and more about my comedy special of like, when I'm up and ready to do it, I'll know. And it's just like that record. I knew when I was ready to do it. And look now, I look back at that record and it's great. And I want my comedy special to be the same. Like, oh yeah, that's fucking, I stand by that, whatever. That's why I'm glad I didn't do a special 2 years ago. I'd be like, ooh, God. No rush, man. No rush to do a special. It's not going to change anything. I'm not going to all of a sudden be doing theaters like, oh, did you see his special? Let's all go. So when I'm ready, I'll get it going. I'm actually looking forward to doing a special. I want it to be fucking great. I want to love it. I don't want to just put out something to put something out. Anyway, let's get into the guest today. It is another Handmade episode. I really love that you guys dig these Handmade episodes. And once again, we spin into the motorcycle world, the chopper world, and what I think is still the high watermark of the custom chopper world was West Coast choppers, and I always will think that. I saw all the choppers come and go and still think West Coast choppers were the best. The rideables. They were bulletproof. They looked cool. They were original. They weren't all, gaudy with big tires and goofy shit on them. They were all handmade. And my guest today, Chopper Dave, was there building motorcycles in 2001. Worked there for 4 years. Did the Motorcycle Mania 2, where they all rode out to Sturgis. Also was on Monster Garage, and is a hell of a engine builder and motorcycle builder on his own, now with his own company that he's had since he left West Coast back in the day. Chopper Dave has amazing motorcycles. Check out his website, chopperdave.com. And, hold on, let me make sure that's the right site for him. Yeah, that's it, chopperdave.com. Amazing, man. Look at his motorcycles. Just click on cycles, man. This guy has built some sick-ass bike. The SUPERFREAK, the Lovely Loser. Secret Weapon is the one I'm talking about on the show, where he built some rims that look just like a BMX bike. I don't know if you remember the Mongoose, but these rims he built are exact to the Moto Mags, and it's just a fucking cool looking bike. And then he's got some other amazing bikes like the Steel Shoe, and what else? What's this other one here? I like this one a lot. Nelson Racing number 95. He builds just amazing shit. He's also got great shirts and parts if you're looking for parts. And he is in Long Beach still, which is cool. Long Beach. Actually, I think he's in Hawaiian Gardens, actually, which is right where Aki's shop is. Remember, I had Aki on. If you're a listener of this show or a new time listener, I had Aki on and Big J. So I've had the trifecta of West Coast choppers. And one thing I know, each one of these guys has motorcycle in their fucking blood, like myself. Even if you're not into motorcycles, it doesn't matter. This guy's story is amazing. He also is a killer photographer and talks about shooting photos, what kind of cameras and film he's using these days. And we get into a little bit of Born Free and Moon Eyes in Japan and all kinds of great stuff. So thank you, Chopper Dave, for doing the show. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. One last thing. Before I do get the episode going, here's some upcoming shows. I'm headlining the Hollywood Improv January 21st, 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. Get tickets to see me headline. Don't sleep. Come on out. I'm going to be doing a long set. Then La Jolla Comedy Store, February 3rd and 4th. That is in San Diego. Denver, one night only at the Su Teatro Theater. February 18th, Denver. Get tickets. I'm doing a theater, and Steve Henry and Lucas Hurl are coming with me. And what else I got going? Brea Improv this Tuesday. Brea Improv. Okay, guys, I love you. Have a great week. Enjoy this episode. Tweet at Chopper Dave. Say hello. And remember, candles lit. Chopper Dave. All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. Great guest today. Chopper Dave is here. How are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day today, so it's a nice day to be out. It's good.
Perfect guest for my handmade episodes. I have people on that make shit with their hands. Of course, that's what you do. I haven't seen you in years.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't remember the last time we were actually face-to-face.
I was looking at your website today, and wow, man. I love that bike that has we'll just jump right into it. You build bikes, you do casting, all kinds of stuff. You worked at West Coast Choppers, of course. You got a bike on there that has like the Mongoose style rims, the Moto Mag,
Oh, yeah, the X-Wedge.
Yeah.
That was a bike I built for SNS Cycles to debut their X-Wedge motor in Japan in 2007. I built that.
It looks like a BMX bike. It has a loop tail like frame like that, and then it has like mongoose looking rims.
Yeah, the frame is basically based on the Motor Shop style frames that I also manufacture now. I built a copy of it. And that one we did with that frame, and then the wheels, were a pretty much direct copy of the Moto Mag.
That's so sick.
Yeah, they came out killer.
Are those wheels heavy as shit?
No, not that heavy.
God, they look great. They look just like a mongoose.
Mm-hmm. That was the idea. Yeah, I did 2 sets of those with Jeff Wright and Church of Choppers.
You don't make them anymore?
No, we just made the 2 sets.
God, so good.
It's not a whole lot of money in making wheels, and it's a lot of money output. So
yeah. If somebody wanted to get those wheels, what would it cost? $5,000?
Oh no, I mean I could probably pull off something like that in the $1,500 range per wheel.
Oh wow, that ain't bad.
So I mean it's doable, but it's not really
Yeah.
money conscious for me to make a bunch of them to sell them.
What about that motor? That motor kind of flopped, right? That SNS
The X-Wedge?
thing.
Yeah, the X-Wedge? No, well, yeah, it was bad timing on their part.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of when the economy started to tank and SNS's management was changing at that point.
Right.
And the motor itself's amazing. It works really, really well.
It's good?
Yeah, it works real well. It was a monster because it was fuel injected, 117 inches. It was an absolute monster. I mean, we did a bunch of rig with the fuel injection because that thing, when you let off, would come off so hard that it'd push you forward onto the tank almost.
Really?
We did a ton of work to the decel map, adding gas to decel when you let off the gas, so it would smoothly come right off. It worked real well, though. Tons of power. They still use it in some sort of three-wheeled thing, Crosley, something like that.
They still make it?
They still make it.
Wow, I never see anyone rolling it. Looks like a V-Rod motor.
Kinda. But
Yeah.
you never ever seen it. The one I built is probably the only traditional chopper with that motor.
You still got that bike?
No, that bike I sold to a buddy of mine, a Swedish buddy of mine, and then he sold it, and it's in Japan now.
Right. All your stuff goes to Japan, right?
No, just that.
Oh, really?
That's the only
Just
thing,
that?
yeah.
You still have the SUPERFREAK?
Nope, I don't own it anymore. Sold it about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had that bike forever.
I built it. Well, I had the drivetrain forever.
Right.
That's the bike I had first up in '96. And then I rebuilt it, 10 different ways before blowing the motor and taking it apart completely and redoing it as the SUPERFREAK.
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I was just because I was looking at your bikes, and the newest one is fucking incredible. I guess from Born Free 5.
Well, no, this the newest one is the Panhead I did for Born Free, the giveaway bike for last year.
Yeah. But that one that looks like
the turbo bike?
Yeah. Holy shit, that thing's great. It looks like a flat tracker bike.
Yeah, it's fully set up as a fully purposed street tracker, yeah. It's a monster.
Now, you grew up here in Studio City, right?
I did.
And what years did you go to high school and shit here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Graduated in 1988.
Did you ever go to Van Nuys Harley?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I used to work over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I went there all the time, and then when I got out of MMI, I tried to get a job there. And then I ended up not, and then I'm going back to work for the guy that I was working for beforehand.
What is it that gets you into bikes back then? Everybody's saying kind of Evel Knievel.
Well, I mean, that didn't really get me into bikes. I was obsessed with Evel Knievel. I had all the toys. It was the coolest thing ever. I mean, whose hero from that age bracket, there was a boy, their hero wasn't Evel Knievel.
Yeah.
It isn't possible for it not to be. It's like the ultimate Americana hero on any level. He was the king of that, even though he's a complete jerk in person. But or he was a complete jerk, but he's still a hero, But got me into bikes. I mean, I was obsessed with, muscle cars and 50s cars, and then I just started, my good buddy of mine who was into bikes kind of got me into it, and I fell headfirst into it.
Yeah.
And it was my absolute complete obsession all the time for years.
Yeah, that's rad.
It's still something that I'm obsessed with, but it's different now, but it's still absolutely there.
Right. So you go to MMI in Arizona?
I went to MMI in 1990, 91, yeah.
Would you recommend that to people? You learn shit, is it good, or do you just pull it apart now and go on YouTube?
No, it's good. It's just yeah, I don't recommend that. But yeah, it's a decent start, I think.
Yeah.
It kind of got me in the right direction because I had kind of a leg up anyway because I worked as a parts manager in a bike shop, Vic's Custom Cycle, in '89.
Where was that at?
It was in Reseda. It was on Sherman Way and White Oak at that point.
And what were they doing, like chopper stuff or
Choppers,
Harley stuff?
old bikes, repair.
Evos?
Yeah, Evos had just kind of started to come into the shop because it was mostly older stuff we worked on. But we had a lot of vintage stuff, and that's where I pretty much fell in love with vintage stuff. Vintage Harleys, vintage choppers, all that stuff. I was there, and then that kind of got me the obsession into older stuff, much bigger.
When you went to MMI, are they teaching anything on knuckles and pans, or what?
Well, at that point, there was an early model program, which I took, as well as the late model program. I graduated number 1 in my class, but it was still that's it. The leg up I had from working in parts kind of gave me a leg up going into it because I knew what a lot of the stuff was by looking at it. Because you just go in fresh, you're not going to know what anything is. The parts. I mean, I can look at all the stuff and tell you what it is, And that made the schooling better because I understood it a little better going in. But still, you come out of MMI, you think you know everything, but as soon as you're put into a real world situation, it's never what you learned in school. Yeah. Ever.
It's like anything.
Yeah,
It's like you could rehearse all day long playing rock music, and then you get in the gig and you break a string, and all of a sudden you're like, now what? You know,
Exactly.
You just got to start fucking digging in and learning.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I probably learned more the first month I was working for Vic out of school than I did the entire time at school.
Wow.
Because you real world situations are far different than book schooling on how to build something.
Yeah.
Even when you're taking stuff apart and tearing it down in a class, it's far different than fixing a broken problem that you have to diagnose first.
So you're working at Vic's for how long?
I worked at Vic's and was a parts manager from probably about a year and a half before I went to MMI. I then got out of MMI, went back to work for Vic for almost 4 years. And then I worked at another shop, and then I destroyed my right leg in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, wow. What happened?
Old man made a left turn in front of me.
Oh, I got
crushed
ran
my
over
right
last
ankle.
year, yeah.
My ankle was fused 4 years later after that.
Wow.
But I was working at another shop at the time then, and then I went back to work for Vic in 98, late 98, and I worked there up until 2001 when I went to work for Jesse, yeah.
How does that happen? You're working at Vic's, and West Coast is kind of a smaller shop at the time, and then they moved to Long Beach and get the bigger, the first side going.
Right.
And what does Jesse hear of you and call you, or do you know him?
I
Are you
don't
going down
remember
there?
how he and I first hooked up.
Yeah.
I know that we did online somehow first, and then I ran into him somewhere, and then back and forth. But then I can't remember who it was. Someone, I think it was actually my ex-wife, ran into him somewhere and said, "Hey, when are you going to hire my husband?"
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then he called me, and I went down there, and I talked to him and Bill at the time, and he offered me a job, and I turned him down because it wasn't really what I was looking for.
Right.
But then a year later, we did the Motorcycle Mania 2, the riding to Sturgis with Jesse and Larry and Giuseppe. And once I actually knew those guys a little better, I was like, okay. And then I went to work for him 3 months later.
So you turned down the job, and then how do you get involved with Motorcycle Mania 2?
Well, he just hit me up.
Oh, he just hit you up like, do you want to go on this ride?
Hey, we're going to do this thing. Indian Larry's going to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, totally. Because I was a fan of Larry's.
Yeah.
And I was kind of sketchy about meeting him in person.
Yeah.
Because when you meet someone that you're a fan of like that, you're always let down. And Larry was just the raddest, most down-to-earth nut job ever.
Yeah.
The total freak show carny. I mean, he was awesome. I mean, separate of the bike stuff, he was awesome. And he had a really cool insight on how to build motorcycles and what they're used for.
Yeah, that's cool. I heard he was a motor king.
Absolutely. He was. It was all of his thing. It was just he had a really simplistic style of looking at stuff, and it's like form and function with him.
Yeah.
It's like everything lately, and since then he has gotten so far away from form and function.
Yeah.
And I still think that's something I always go back to. He's like the less is more type, way of building stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had, the way I look at it now is we've had the three real phases in the last 15 years. We had the choppers that got all the way up to the dumb, big, unrideable tires and all that.
Yep.
Then the full-blown bagger phase. And then, of course...
We're still there.
Yeah, and then the FXR Dyna era,
I think the FXR, that thing is kind of coinciding because the bagger thing's still going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Sturgis last year, and it was nauseating how many bikes were there, baggers were there, stretch-dropped baggers with 26-inch front wheels and turbos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like first of all, you got a rim you can't go over 100 miles
Yeah,
on.
all these crazy juxtaposition of stuff that just, in my eyes, doesn't work. But
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just gets down to now I look at a motorcycle like a tool. Like I love my Road King because I go everywhere. And
for sure.
I worship ABS brakes because of fucking fools now. It's
Absolutely.
It's more crazier now to ride a motorcycle than ever. It's insane.
It's absolutely true.
I used to have a close call once a year. And I'd get home like, wow, today, man, I can't believe it. Now it's once a week.
Yeah, it's all the time.
It's texting and weed smoking. And
I haven't been
downstairs.
riding daily since my last accident 2 years, 3 months ago, whatever it was. And it's like, I don't think I'll ever ride daily ever again.
Wow.
I mean, I'll ride. I'm still going to ride as much as I can, but I've
had
never...
a bad one a couple years ago, right?
Like crushed my left leg.
Is that your second one?
That's my second bad one, yeah.
Right. And what happens on that one? Because I remember there was like some benefits and stuff.
No, it was... People were unbelievably generous and helpful to us. I mean, it saved our lives. You know, I didn't lose everything. You know,
Right.
So it was...
What happens on this one?
Well, that what happened. I was on my way to work in the morning because I was working at the Harley dealer at the time.
What one?
Huntington Beach.
Oh, Huntington
it was
Beach.
Westminster, but we moved to Huntington Beach.
Oh, yeah.
I was service writing / parts countering, doing whatever they needed me at that point.
Right.
And I just transferred over to full time to make some changes. And I was on my way to work, and 2 blocks from our front door, I'm going down the street in San Pedro, and lady blows right through a stop sign and slams into me.
Wow, man.
Crushes my left leg, compound fracture, tibia, fracture the fibula, the whole deal.
She keep going?
No, she stopped.
Wow.
But I, literally, called my wife from my phone that was still stuck on the bike that was 20 feet away from me once someone brought it to me.
Yeah.
And she came down, and I was in the hospital for, over a week to
Wow.
repair my legs, and my legs went up and down, and my leg's never going to be the same.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I'm walking, and I'm doing the best I can,
Yeah, it's fucking...
But it's something I deal with every day, and I look at motorcycling different now. I'm not going to be riding as much as I was.
Right.
I still love it. It's still what I love, but I have 2 different bikes I'm going to be racing now, and I figure that's way safer to race on a flat track than to ride on the street every day.
Yeah.
Because everyone has the same goal on the track. No one's looking at their phone.
Yeah.
No one's loaded. It's just,
It is crazy out there, man.
It's bad.
It's weird because when I got ran over, I was like, my first thought was like, well, I'm good. I rode 32 years. I had to run. I'm not going to ride anymore just because it was just so fucking crazy. And then a couple weeks go by, and a good few days in a car with some traffic, and I'm like, oh man, fuck this, because I haven't been in a car in years. You know, so it was just insane. But it's unbelievable what a fuck you people have out on the road. They don't they don't give a fuck about anyone.
Absolutely true.
It's insane. So, okay, so
you live right next to the worst freeway in the world for that. The 101 is the worst freeway on the planet for a motorcycle. The 101 seems to be, all the lanes are a little bit narrower, though.
Yeah.
So it's just tighter on the 101.
Everyone does 90.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, even if you want to ride like mellow, like I'm going to ride mellow now and just people.
Yeah, that's my problem, too, is I don't know how to do that.
I know, me
I
either.
don't.
I'm just like,
I'm in a car now, and I'm relaxed in a car now.
Yeah.
I don't haul ass everywhere in the car. It drives my wife's nuts.
Yeah.
Because I cruise everywhere in the car now.
Yeah.
I just cruise, and it's easy, and I don't want to, I don't want to be dangerous. I don't want to get in an accident. I try to leave myself time where I'm not in a hurry, but on a motorcycle, it's a whole different mindset. Motorcycle, I'm constantly focused on everyone around me all the time. You're hyper aware of everything going on. All the instincts are there at all the time, but I find myself going way faster than I should be all the time.
I know.
So I do my best not to, it's like I try cruise when but it's hard to get away from that kind of riding.
Especially these bikes that like we're riding like choppers and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like one wrong move. At least with my Harley or a Beamer or something, I got ABS brakes. I grab them, but man, one wrong way, like I don't care how long you've been riding, you're still going to grab way too much brake if someone pulls out in front of you.
For sure, absolutely.
It's just fucking
it's instinct. It's what's going to happen, yeah. Well, that's the thing, too. We shot a bunch of video of me riding the giveaway bike a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since I'd really ridden an old bike with shitty brakes around, just hauling ass around. And I'm like, wow. It's been a while, and I'm like, damn, these brakes suck compared to, used to riding FXR or a newer brake, good bike with good brakes.
Yeah.
Totally different, So I'm like, you got to just kind of shift gears to change the way you ride to deal with that.
You got to be putting, man, when you're on like an old Panhead or something,
Still not very good at that. But
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's impossible. Like, I always look down and go, fuck, I'm doing 80.
For sure. Especially on a new bike, too.
Yeah. God, a new bike.
You're just hauling ass all the time, and it's just...
You just feel, and you feel... like bulletproof, like an idiot. You're out there like,
Well, I always tend to mind fuck myself too. Before I ride anywhere, I'll tell myself all things that can happen. But once I'm on the bike, and everything's going fine, I'm not really, I'm conscious of it, but I'm not thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about, survival and getting there and having a good time, enjoying doing it.
Well, I think once a week too, I got like PTSD or whatever. I get a flashback on it.
Oh, I have stuff like that all the time.
All the time,
when
man.
I ride now.
It's
all the time.
Crazy. Like I'll be riding, and then just a car will just go by, and I go, oh.
Yeah,
for
sure.
like because that's how she hit me, just full 70, right to the side of me. So I'll get this, or the sound of it will hit me, and I'll be like, "Oh fuck!"
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's something that I I dealt with that after my first accident. You know, I'd see someone making. I mean, everyone was going to make a left in front of me.
Totally, man. And these Uber fuckers are the real Satan of bikes now, because they'll just be sitting on Sunset, right? And I'll be coming, and then they'll go, "Oh, there's my ride," and they'll just fucking U-turn. They don't care, man.
Well, that's the thing. No one's paying attention.
No one cares,
and it makes it hard for riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, it does.
Makes it dangerous, and it's changed my outlook on it, and it's changed all the kind of riding I'm doing. But, because I don't even have a street bike right now.
Yeah, you know,
I sold the last one I have, and I've just got the 2 race bikes that are running right now, and I have the turbo bike too. But that's that's not something I'm ride all the time.
Yeah, you probably won't get us another one, right?
No, I will.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff I want to build. I still want to build an FXR the way I want to build one.
Right.
So.
All right. So you go on this ride, man, on the Motorcycle Mania 2, and you don't really know anybody, right? Like, good. That had to be a killer experience, right?
Oh, it was super fun. I mean, everything went wrong with everybody's shit on the way there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the one bike we thought was going to have a problem, the CFL that Giuseppe Ronson was riding, had 0 problems. The RevTech motor chopper had 0 problems. You know, I mean,
what was the bike you were riding?
My Panhead.
Oh, yeah.
And I had carburetor issues. Larry's magneto coil went out.
Oh, I remember
Jesse's charging system went out. And then the rocker box problem. I mean, all kinds of shit went wrong.
Yeah. Oh, he rode Sturgis too out there, right?
Yeah, the blue
And
bike.
then that Patrick's motor kind of expanded from the heat.
Yeah, it's something with some of the rocker arm hardware was wrong or something. I don't remember exactly. So
after the ride, you just figured, all right, I'm going to start working here.
Well, kind of. I mean, I was just kind of like, you know, I spent that whole week, because the week, that's the thing too. It's like I had way more fun in Sturgis that week, because I pretty much hung out with Larry all week.
Right.
You know, it was killer. We rode all over and had a killer time. And that was before he was super well known either. There were people that knew him, because he absolutely had a fan base.
Yeah.
But it was far different than it was after he was on TV.
Right.
You know, but it just kind of, I don't know how I went from there to working for him, but somehow it came up and I said, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
And so do you move?
That was October of 01.
You moved down to Long Beach?
Moved to Long Beach, yeah.
And yeah, because that's got to be a change. You grew up right here.
It was, huge change.
Yeah, Long Beach, you're just like, there's nothing going on around here.
No, it's just different. Oh, there's tons going on. It's just different.
Oh, yeah.
It's just kind of just a different place, you know.
So that shop, you know, once you start working there, that's like 01, 02, and now it starts to get fucking...
Well, no, it was within... I started in October. Motorcycle Mania 2 came out in January, and that's kind of when... I mean, the shit was always a little crazy.
Right.
You know, but once it was... After that show came out, shit hit the fan down there.
Yeah. As far as like
people,
yeah, because you had the gates up and they would just stand there watching shit.
It was crazy.
That was actually a weird scene. Like
it was super weird. But
if I pulled up on one of the bikes, you'd get surrounded. Like,
it was crazy for a while.
Just people out there from Japan and France and fucking Germany, and then,
I mean the TV show killed it for Jesse. I mean, killed it in a good way for him. You know, because it opened the door to all these people. You know, and he's a personality, so people want to see that, good and bad, whatever, you know, and it's just like, it was insane.
Yeah.
It's like I got in there it had already gotten a little crazy, but while I was there, it got much crazier.
Yeah.
You know, and then everything shifted while I was there too. So it was the time period I was there was like the perfect time period for me to be there.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, there were stuff that happened like the first day I was there that I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
You know, like what happened?
I'm not going to go into what it was, but just something I was told to do. I was working with how to deal with an issue that was absolutely, in my opinion, the wrong way to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, what the hell am I doing?
Wow.
You know, but then it kind of shifted and it was good. I mean, I look back on it. I have to think to look at the bad things now, because there was a lot of negative stuff that happened too. But, you know, for the most part, I look back on it and it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I learned a ton about building at a much higher level than I had been. I learned a ton about machining. I met a ton of people. I mean, looking back on it was all positive for me.
Yeah, you were only there, what, 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
You were the first guy to leave?
One of them.
Yeah, I mean, Bill left after you, right?
No, Bill left before me.
Oh, you left before
he left before me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting to see that whole thing of like, you know, just how $100,000 chopper started happening.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, right? I mean, and a lot of people think that's like crazy money, but...
It is crazy money.
It is crazy, but I mean, the amount of hours that were put into these bikes.
Yeah, but it's still crazy money.
Yeah. It is
paying
crazy.
6 figures for a motorcycle that isn't a vintage collectible bike is a little crazy to me. But
it was wild to see around then, right? Like
for sure.
Shaq. And,
there was a list of bikes that went through there while I was there that stuff that I worked on that were six-figure motorcycles.
Yeah. I liked what's his name's bike, Keanu Reeves.
The blue bike?
No, the black one. It had like
because it was a blue dragon that we did for him first.
Oh yeah. What was your favorite style of bike out of there?
Well, I mean, I kind of wish I had a dragon chassis.
Oh yeah.
Just because I liked them. For a Softail, I liked them.
Right.
I don't know if I'd ever do anything with it. The CFL is a killer chassis. I mean, I'm building one now for a guy, which is I'm kind of stoked to be doing because it's been a long time since I built one. But I think my favorite, honestly, was the Diablo 1, the high upstretch one with the longer fork.
Right,
because they rode bitchin'. The guy named Vic Miller had one that was like a medium green with orange flames. It was absolute cherry to ride. I mean, the whole setup was killer. You know, and the CFL worked real well too.
CFL, I think, is great. It's
a killer chassis.
I think it's a great bike.
It is. Any version of it pretty much is a good. They're decent. Every one of them.
Absolutely. Did you ever get into the CFL 3? It was like a red line bike.
No, I never. Well, the CFL 2, the Monaco frame deal.
Yeah.
No, that was he was working on that before I left, but they never actually did anything with it. Till I was gone.
Now, when you leave, it's pretty much just bad, right? You're like, I'm out of here. Because I think
it didn't end all that well.
It just got so crazy down there.
Well, it just became a personal thing with Jesse and I, and it just didn't end very well. But, whatever.
Once you leave there, you start working for Harley?
No, I started working for myself.
Got ya.
And that's all I did for years.
Chopper Dave casting.
Yeah, I mean, kind of that, doing some bike stuff, and all kinds of random stuff like that. Really starting to do the casting stuff and making more products.
Right.
I went to work for Harley 2 days a week in, 08, 09 maybe. Right. I don't remember exactly when that was.
Right.
And I was there for 2 days a week for years, just working in the parts department, helping them do inventory and whatever, and they had a lot of old stuff in inventory too, so it worked out really well in the long run. But, and then I only gone full time maybe 4 months before my accident.
Wow.
Because I was still running my entire business that whole time.
Wow.
Building bikes and, all that stuff, parts and all that stuff.
When you step out of that world, was it just kind of like weird? Because that was such a under the magnifying glass, you know what I mean? And I've had, now I got you, I've had Jay on and Aki.
Yeah.
It just seems so weird to think about. Now it's almost better because it's back to people that just ride, right? Because that was
it's different. I mean, it's a different clientele. It's a different way of looking at stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
but money-wise,
I look back at it. Well, for what the bikes were selling for, sure.
Yeah.
But it was just a different thing. I look back on it now, and some of the best things I took from it is, the skills I learned there, which just expanded on the skills I already had, and the people that I've met from there.
Yeah.
Aki's shop is 50 yards from my shop.
Yeah, that's pretty
I see
cool.
him every day. We barbecue chicken every day almost for lunch.
Yeah.
We do work on stuff together. I help him with stuff. It's killer. I never would have thought 10 years ago that he'd become one of my closest friends.
Right. At the shop, you guys didn't talk much?
Well, we did, but he's one of the few people, they were my friends that I got in a huge fight with, yelling match in the middle of the shop with.
Right.
And it's funny, too, because he and I have talked about it, and I don't remember exactly what it was about. He doesn't either.
Yeah.
But now he's one of my closest friends.
Well, that shop just seemed like a breed of tension. You know what I mean?
Yes. The shop breeding tension is a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. I mean, it was high tension all the time around there.
Yeah.
It was high stress, high tension. You're constantly being pushed to do this, do that, and it was up and down and up. It was a roller coaster.
Yeah, it really was.
It was, I look back on it was some killer stuff going on while I was there, and I built some killer stuff, so.
Which was your favorite that you built there?
Oh, man. I don't even know. Honestly, probably that little flathead that I built there right when I started.
Yeah.
The Worry flathead.
Yeah.
But I worked on a ton of stuff there. I mean, I worked on a bunch of Jesse's bikes, all kinds of stuff.
I love the Headfield Knucklehead.
Yeah.
That thing's great. That's kind of like a classic chopper.
Yeah, that was one of the that was still there when I left.
Yeah.
But I remember I took a road test on that thing, and I was out in Riverside somewhere, and something started leaking or something, and they came out and picked me up. But
yeah,
that was a good bike.
Do you like those S&S knuckles and pans?
They work well. I mean, the S&S pan I don't really care for styling wise as much the way it works internally because it's got shovel head rockers in it. But they make an excellent product. I mean, I'm an absolute huge fan of S&S.
Me too.
Their stuff absolutely works. Like the bike I just built for Born Free has their entire hydraulic tappet oil feed system for the top end in it.
Right.
Converted the whole panhead from case oiling through the cylinders to Evolution lifters oiling up through the push rods. And it works amazing.
What I love Born Free, man. You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I was up and down about it for years, and I've kind of just like, because I try really hard to stay out of all the drama that goes on with the whole chopper scene with people. I try really hard to stay out of it.
It's interesting how much drama there is in the motorcycle world, man.
There's a ton of it.
It's so weird. It seems to me like, I mean, I just stand up and everybody's pretty much like, hey, you know, and that's a high money possibility and jealousy could happen. But it's pretty good. And same with rock or movies. But then you get into this chopper world. And it's so weird how, like, this guy ripped me off and fuck that guy, and oh, this guy owes me money, and oh, that fucking guy slept with my woman, and I think it's just such a small little world that it's almost like a soap opera, you know?
That's very true.
It's insane,
and
right?
It's just gotten worse too with that stuff. But it's like I was pretty much over it.
Right.
Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was over it. I didn't really care. I was doing as little shit what I can with it, but I was still making parts. And, you know, then they asked me if I wanted to do Born Free, and I'm like, okay. And timing-wise, it all kind of clicked for me.
Right.
With the turbo bike that I built and, you know, just timing-wise with doing that. And it kind of made me like it again because I look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I look at it that what it's really doing is giving me a chance to do the stuff that I really love, you know, and I'm making money with it here and there and, you know, doing okay and being able to make a living doing it. And still enjoying it. It's kind of gave me a different perspective of looking upon it that way. So I didn't get super negative with it. Because at that point, I was super negative. I was over it. I'm like, this sucks. I'm done. All these people suck. All these bikes suck. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, but now I'm just kind of like, I look at it for the stuff I love in it. And I've kind of just let any of the stuff that bothers me go.
Right.
You know, I mean, my attitude's way, you know, it's like I ran that They Forced Me to Hate shirt forever that I was making. You know, and that came from a newspaper headline that we saw one morning walking to the burger place by West Coast Shoppers.
Yeah, Cisco
and I had
Burgers.
it taped to way before that.
Oh, I got you.
It was just the burger place we used to call Squishy Burger.
Yeah.
You know, and I had it taped to my flat plate forever, and then it just kind of ran with it. But it's kind of like, you know, I'm kind of not really over it because I still can't stand everybody. But for the most part, I look at it differently now. I'm kind of over all the negative crap. I just don't let it affect me anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I do what I do, and luckily I'm able to do that. And there's enough people that seem to like it, so I can do okay, you know, but it's still, you know, I try to take the positive things from it. Because it comes down to it, I still love motorcycles. Yeah, and I'm not going to let all the drama kill my love for motorcycles.
Where do you think the drama comes from? Isn't it, I mean, what do you think that is? It's just...
Well, I think there are a lot of people that have, like, there's a million people that opened shops, you know, 5-10 years ago that wanted to build bikes.
They be big money
exactly,
people.
that wanted to build bikes to make money, and you can't make money building bikes.
Right.
You know, it's like there was recently, a couple days ago, a huge thing online, you know, about shops and people selling bikes for too much money and what they're really worth, you know, because you can't make money building bikes anymore.
Right.
I mean, you can if you have a customer that wants this or that built, then it's a different story. But building bikes from scratch to sell, there's no money in it.
Yeah.
None.
Well, first you're going to get the guy walk in and he's going to go like, I want something like this, but maybe a different tank. So,
well, yeah, but that's a different situation.
Right.
You know,
but I'm just saying, like, if you're just building bikes and putting them on the floor, no one's just coming in.
There's no money in that.
I know. And then you got to figure out if you can get some financing on it. But if you're not a corporation, you can't get finance on a special construction.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, people with day tech frames and shit, just doing that stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty weird. I feel like what happened was some people got on TV and then other people couldn't get on TV. And then they just hated the people that were on TV. And really what it felt like to me was it was just a jealousy thing. And maybe they didn't really like building bikes. They just wanted to get on TV.
Well, I think there's a bunch of people that got into it with the wrong intentions.
Right.
You know, they wanted to make money and their intentions to do it weren't really pure. And if you're going to be in this industry, for one thing, it has to be a labor of love. I do this because I love it. That's it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be doing it, believe me.
Yeah,
I'd be
right.
making more money doing something else somewhere else.
Absolutely.
You know, but it's what I really love. It's what really, you know, drives me to do the stuff, you know, and it's, if you don't love it, you're not going to succeed at it.
Yeah.
You're not. If you're just in it to make a ton of money and cash in without the proper love for it, you're never going to be able to do the work that has to be done.
That's like comedy.
Yeah, well, it's like most things like that, for sure.
You know what I mean? People just think like, I'll just do this for a few months and then get a TV show.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work like that at all.
It's pretty interesting to see how far that went, the chopper world. I think it's going to come back too. Like there'll be some kind of
well, yeah. I mean, there's TV shows now. I mean, there's the Sacred Steel as a show right now, and there's all kinds of it's still going to keep happening.
Yeah,
because the TV people are still going to see ways to cash in on it.
Well, there's no money to make the show. You know what I mean?
That's
were you paid to be on the show?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I worked with I got paid when I did Monster Garage.
Yeah,
but because everyone got paid to do that. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it was just we just did it.
Monster Garage was cool, right?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I mean, I met a lot of neat people when they were filming that.
Yeah,
and I did that one episode, and it was fun. I had a good time with that.
So cool to just make weird shit.
Yeah, it was a neat segue away from my normal job. Because I just took a week off from work just to go do that. It was super fun.
You ever talk to Bill Dodds?
Yeah, if I see him.
Yeah. See him.
I haven't seen him or really talked to him since I was last in Sturgis. No, I saw him last year in Sturgis.
Yeah.
I talked to him for 5 minutes, and that was it.
Yeah. It's so funny that I bet that like Discovery Channel would die to get like the original crew is back. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny too. I think about that too. The crew that was there for the core of my time with Joe and Skippy and Jay and Aki. And
it's Mark Nelson, was he there?
And Mark, yeah, Mark was in and out while I was there, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, that core group was killer.
Yeah.
It really was, and that kind of started to fall apart, and then it did fall apart,
right.
But that core group was killer.
Absolutely. And talk about like a casting agent's dream. Everybody had their own personality.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it was just like you couldn't even find this crew. Like, okay, we're looking for an angry dude. Then we need an Asian guy from Japan.
Yeah, no, it was a neat mix of stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But that's looking at it now too, though. It's like Aki and I are the only people that work there in that capacity for that time period that are doing bikes full time.
Right. Bill doesn't do bikes?
Oh, no, Bill does too.
Yeah.
Any of the core guys that remain doing it, because Bill was building and doing, run all the running stuff too. But any of the guys that were actually working all the time. It's really just Aki and I.
I still love that Count Chocula bike.
Oh, the brown CFL2.
Yeah, that was a fucking great bike.
Yeah, it was a nice bike.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's like I never really, for the most part, really cared for those bikes a whole lot.
Right.
But I was able to do it because I liked where Jesse was thinking, where he was coming from with it.
Yeah.
That's what I could identify with. That's why I remember when I first went to work there, people were just like, oh my God, how can you get to work there? I'm like, well, he's building from a pure, the way he looks at it is like a pure chopper type of building deal.
Right.
I get it. And he's not there trying to make $1 million.
Yeah.
He's not there trying to build the craziest thing. He wants to build functional, bikes that really work.
Yeah, like old Frisco style choppers.
Any of those bikes, honestly, that came out of the bike, they were built in the shop. You could hop on and beat the crap out of them.
Oh,
At the crap out of them.
I rode the shit out of them.
Yeah, I mean, we used to road test up from Long Beach over the bridges and the Pede Road back around. I mean, I've gone 110 plus on multiple of those bikes over the bridges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was killer. I mean, the bikes, they worked. We did them from a perspective that had to be the main thing.
That was a shit freeway. The 710.
The 710's it's still awful. Yeah, it's still awful.
What a fucking shit freeway. I remember there was, at the time, there was like some kind of like poster or whatever. We test our bikes through the worst conditions ever or whatever. Yeah. It was insane.
Oh, yeah, and they still hasn't been fixed. Because I remember it got fixed up until the 405.
Yeah.
While I was there, but it was still shit from the 405 down.
Just a garbage can, man. Fucking
still bad
stuff.
You should get all the trucks coming off the port and just ruin the freeway.
Oh, just potholes and fucking and garbage and ladders and like old fucking like weed eater parts or whatever.
It's still like that.
That shit is insane. Did you ever work when it moved to the big side across the street, or were you?
Yeah, I was still there.
Oh, you were still there.
Yeah, I was still there.
Yeah, that fucking side was insane.
Yeah, when Jesse moved out, that's kind of when it started to shift.
Right.
The whole goal and it kind of started to fall apart when he left the main building and moved over there.
Yeah.
And kind of isolated himself from the shop.
Right.
I mean, he was still in the shop, but that's when it, in my eyes, kind of started to shift and stop being what it was.
Yeah, it was interesting. All of a sudden, it was just kind of...
Because he kind of stepped back from it. I don't think it was his intention, but he kind of did.
Right.
And it kind of, that and the whole... I think a lot of people really, faulted him for the Walmart deal.
Right.
I'm like... Whatever. I mean, I get it, but I think a lot of people did.
Second, man.
Well, that's the thing. Anyone who's a businessman, like, oh, sure, why not?
Yeah, sell shirts.
But I think a lot of people really faulted him for that.
Well, that
was kind of at the same time, and that's kind of when it kind of started to shift, and just the unity that was there for a time period that I was there when it was there.
Yeah.
It wasn't always there.
Yeah.
You know, kind of shifted when that happened and when he moved across the street. It started to kind of fall apart slowly. It was a slow downhill thing.
I never understood that punk rock thing of, in any kind of biz, like, oh, what a sellout,
Well, like, I get it, but...
I get it too, but also when you're starving for years,
when you're not making money and you have a chance to make money, you can't turn that stuff down. And no one's going to turn that stuff down.
Without that money, the shop would have been gone a long time before that. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that came because he did. They did the Daytona. They did like Biketoberfest.
Yeah.
Right before I went to work for him, right at that time period. I mean, they made hand over fist money that trip. I mean, a crazy amount of money.
Selling
like I said, what
shirts,
it was. Selling shirts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 6 figures up from there selling shirts. It was crazy how much money they made in Daytona just selling shirts.
That's
the
unbelievable.
original shirt with the cross logo on it. It was crazy when that happened.
There was a time where you would go to Sturgis and every guy had that fucking shirt on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're talking about hundreds of thousands of shirts at a fucking place.
That's totally possible.
It's so more than Harley Davidson.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy.
Wow, man, it's so.
It was absolutely insane. That whole time period with that stuff, it was just everybody wanted it at that point.
Yeah. Now you go to Moon Eyes a lot. I've been dying to go.
I've been 5 times now.
I've been dying to go to Moon Eyes.
It's mind blowing.
How great is it?
It's the most incredible show I've ever been to.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Is it in Tokyo?
It's in Yokohama.
At
the Pacifico Yokohama, which is the main convention hall in Yokohama, right on the water.
Right.
It's beautiful. Where it is beautiful. I first went in 2004, when I rebuilt the SUPERFREAK 4.
Right.
And
they airplane your bike over?
No, they go over on a ship.
On a ship?
Yeah,
they pay for it?
Yeah, they pay for the bikes to go over, and they pay for the invited guests to go.
Right.
It's amazing. When I was first there, it was 2004, and the convention center has like 6 or 7 sections. When they put the big wall up. And I think it was 3 sections when I first went. I mean, now it's the entire building.
Wow.
It's massive.
Yeah.
They had something like 300 cars registered for it and over 600 plus motorcycles for it this year.
Wow.
It was mind-blowing.
Did you see Decker there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when they put them in a ship, how long does it take to get the bikes there? A couple weeks?
It takes 5-6 weeks.
Wow.
It comes back in about 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's quicker to come back than it is to go over there.
Now, when you're there, they just have choppers, and then at night, do you go on rides and stuff? And
no, I mean, they used to have it so you could, we would, like the first time I went, Cole Foster and Rob Forty and I rode all over Yokohama the day before the show.
Right.
They'd give you a temporary plate, you rode on your back on a string, and
wow.
It was killer. But now they can't do that because they've had so much backlash from the community for where the show is.
Yeah.
From 8 million bikes coming and invading. I mean, for a weekend, I think it's a load of shit that they get a hard time for it.
Wow.
Because they don't deserve it because it's a weekend.
It's only a weekend?
Yeah, it's one day. The show's one day.
Holy shit. I thought it was like five days or
one
so.
Day.
One day.
Load in on Saturday and then the show on Sunday.
Unbelievable.
And everyone's out by Sunday night.
That is insane.
It's mind-blowing. And it's just one day of complete, you can't see everything.
Yeah.
You have to go and really look at everything. You want to see everything, but it's like, I was there for Saturday for the setup day, and I walked around taking pictures all day, and then Sunday was the show, and then it's it.
It's weird. I thought it was like a week-long thing.
Nope. The show itself is one day.
Holy shit. And
it's incredible. It's the most incredible mix of stuff I've ever seen, built-wise.
I love Japan because, let's say they're into FXRs. They'll have exact, like bikes from 85, 90, Frisco style FXRs.
Oh, yeah.
Then they'll have Chopper Dave style SUPERFREAK.
Well, they'll take builds like that and they go as far as they can with it.
Yeah.
Depending if it's a super old school build or even the guys that are building old school patinate style bikes, that they'll just kill it.
Yeah.
They just nail it and it's killer.
It is.
But there's so much stuff there you won't see here too.
Wow.
So every time I go, I always come back super inspired, to do different things.
Yeah.
And then the first year I went was the crazy like that because I came back just exploding with stuff I wanted to do.
Wow.
But it's still like that every time you go. It's amazing. Shige puts on an incredible show.
Wow.
Incredible.
I need to go to that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I might go.
And it's cheap to fly to Japan now too.
Oh, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it was like a buddy of mine paid like $620 for a ticket like 2 weeks before going.
Wow, I think I need to go this year.
And there's ways to go to Japan and do it on the cheap as well. Everyone thinks it's crazy expensive, and it's not.
Yeah.
You know, you can eat for super cheap. You can get hotel rooms cheap.
Well, you're only there a couple days.
No, that's true too.
I mean, I would stay for like a week, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there were been years I've gone that I stayed for a week or a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, we're there for 4 or 5 days, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all you need to be there 5 days.
Yeah,
you know?
but if you want to really get into Tokyo or see more of Japan, you add a couple days on to it.
Tokyo rocks, man.
Tokyo's neat.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's super neat.
Now, you got...
And riding a motorcycle in Japan is a whole other deal, because I rode 1 year. I rode
the other
from,
side?
It's on the other side, which is a total mind fuck.
Yeah.
But I rode from Yokohama to Tokyo on my buddy Makoto's bike, or Makanabe's bike, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's the editor of Hardcore Chopper at the time, and I rode his bike into Tokyo, and I was just, holy crap, because it's just chaos.
Wow. There's an amazing video I remember back in the day. Whoever Bill sold the Count Chocula to, it went to Japan.
That's in Japan, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it gets off the boat or whatever, and they uncrate it. The guy was smart. He videoed it, and they open it up. He starts it and just rides it through Japan, and it's an amazing video.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. That's
God, it's really cool. I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but I was just like, wow, that is so sick, you know?
Neat.
You now anyway, Born Free. I enjoy Born Free. I wish they would move it. I can't stand where it's at. Like no trees, you know.
Yeah, well, luckily
it's so
they must
hot
like
there.
me or something. I tend to get a really good spot next to Speed Merchant under a tree.
Yeah. Because I saw Aki. He was under the tree. Yeah, because boy, it gets fucking hot there, man.
There a couple years ago, it was brutal. Last year wasn't so bad, but the year before, it was in the hundreds both days. It was awful.
Really, really fucking hot.
Yeah, but that's that time of year too. You know, it's hard to gauge, because like week before it can be in the 80s, and that week it can be in the 60s or in 105.
Yeah. Now you building a bike for it this year?
I am.
And I saw it looks like it's a fucking super chopper.
Well, I mean, it's that we're not Mark and I, because it's Mark's bike that I'm building. Mark Nelson's bike. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because he and I have been sharing the shop together. I've had for years. He doesn't work out of there, but he's got a bunch of stuff there. So.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, I mean, Mark's one of my best friends.
That was the first West Coast I bought.
Yeah.
I owned it for about a year.
Oh, did you?
And then Death Dealer came for sale, and I had to have Death Dealer.
Yeah, that was a neat bike.
Yeah, that was that's the one I should have kept.
With the Frazetta paint job on it.
Yeah, and it just rode great because it was a 2-up with
I know. I remember. I did the final assembly on it.
Yeah. And then I sold that to get the Chongo.
There you go.
Know? But
I did the final assembly on that too.
On the Chongo.
That was a killer bike.
That bike
was killer. That was a neat bike. It was a fun bike to ride.
I've sold that bike twice.
Oh, did you?
I sold it to a buddy, and then a couple years later, I sold it for him to another guy who owns all the West Coast now.
Yeah, I hear there's that guy.
Tow truck
there's
driver.
a guy that owns a bunch of them, like shop-built bikes.
I'm selling like 2 of them right now.
What bikes are you selling?
I'm selling a Dragon, JJ's bikes.
Okay.
So a Dragon, and then the last El Diablo to come out of there.
Okay, like El Diablo 1 or 2?
It's a 1. It's a hardtail. Oh no, I think it's a softtail. I can't even remember now.
Is it the super wide tire or the 180-200?
It's got a 200.
Okay, that's what they do when they were
The Dragon is killer though.
The Dragon is for a softtail chassis. It worked really well, and I like the way they look too.
Yeah, they look great, man. They look like a custom softtail, but not all gaudy.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no. Back to the Born Free deal. I'm building a Swedish style long bike.
Oh yeah,
totally traditional panhead, super clean.
So in Sweden, they ride them super long?
Yeah. I mean, well, see, that's the thing. My Swedish friends would yell at me for calling it a long bike.
Yeah.
Because it's not a long bike unless the forks are 20 over.
Wow.
And if we're going with 16 over forks, so.
That's fucking unrideable. Like on slow turns, though?
Nah.
No way.
It's all set up properly. I have Tolle forks on it, the Swedish-made forks. The guy that pretty much pioneered making those things actually work and handle.
Really?
You know, so.
Yeah.
And
then what's the motor?
Panhead.
Panhead. Yeah. Is that your favorite motor?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a favorite motor because I love Knuckles. Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
I don't really have any one motor that I like the best because I like them all pretty much. I don't like shovel heads though. I'm not a shovel head guy.
How come?
Okay, when I was working in the early 90s, I think every single piece of shit shovel head would come into Vic's, and because I was the low guy on the totem pole, I had to work on it.
Right.
And they were never taken care of properly, and then the guys that owned them never had the money to fix them properly, so it was always a nightmare. And it kind of clouded my vision of them. I mean, I like shovels, and I built the shovel head motor a couple months ago for a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not a shovel head guy at all.
Yeah.
I'll probably never own one. There's a couple shovels out there I own, but that's about it. And I'll probably never build one.
Yeah. I like the Knuckle
For myself,
the best.
that is.
Like a Knuckle FL, as killer bike. Now let's get into casting a little bit. It's funny. I used to do casting when I was in high school, sand casting.
Yeah, a lot of people did. I wish I had. That would have been really cool.
Oh, yeah. I remember that was like the metal shop thing, sand casting stuff. And I think because I don't really know much about it, but to me, I always thought that sand casting was just like poor man shit. It looked weird. It didn't look clean. It looked kind of pitty and
Depends how it's done.
What is the appeal and the history of sand casting?
It's super old. It's super old. I mean, I really first got into it because I was collecting car club plaques at the time.
Right.
And they were all sand cast.
Oh, that's right.
And then I thought about, I kind of looked into doing it, and, I made a handful of, small, thing, I put foot pegs, a couple other things first, and I just kind of ran with it, and I just fell in love with it, because I love, the original chopper aftermarket stuff from the 70s was all sandcast. I mean, Randy Smith was making the pan covers and a ton of other parts, and sandcast was how it was done, and the sandcast is the old school way to do it.
Sandcasting the pan tops? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Just, and then, because I like the early, what's the pan that only had stainless parts? The first year?
Oh man, I don't remember.
That's
1 or 2 years had stainless pans.
Yeah, only. But I always loved that, And then I remember guys were making these sand casted
cast fin ones. Yeah,
and it always looked like wrong to me. Is that stuff strong?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Now, what's the other way of casting? There's another way.
Well, there's Lost Wax investment cast, which is how I do buckles and a lot of small stuff. They'll do in bronze or stainless.
That's pretty badass.
Because that's a whole other deal too. Because that is stuff that I built and make molds for. It has to be poured in wax, and then sprued and then coated with a ceramic and then pour it in. It's a lot bigger process.
Wow.
And I don't do any of that in house either because I do all the wax work and all the finish work. But I have a foundry that does that stuff for me.
Oh wow. Now, how long's your shop been going?
I've been in that shop now for 11 years.
And what do you do? Do people call you to build bikes, or do you service bikes, or what do you do?
It depends.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people whose bikes I service. I have people whose bikes I work on. I have motors I build for people. I have transmissions I build for people. I have a lot of stuff that I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I still write for Harley Journal Japan.
Yeah.
Monthly for every one of their magazines.
I write for them, and then they translate it?
Yeah.
And what kind of stuff you write for it?
Editorial, whatever I feel like writing about at the time.
Wow.
He really much gives me whatever, and I'll give them a handful of pictures every time, and and I've been doing that for probably 40 plus issues now for them, and it comes out every 2-3 months ish.
Right.
But I do that. I do random service for people. Like if someone knows me, hey, I need this. Oh yeah, I can do that. But I do motor building, transmission building, and I do. See, I don't do as much working on bikes as I'd like, but every once in a while, a ton of service stuff will just show up, or hey, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, bring it down this time. And I got a guy who I'm going to pick up his 4.5 doing transmission next week, and I'm doing 2 4.5 race motors, and I've got 4 builds going on right now too, because I'm building a CFL for a customer of mine.
Wow. What, 2 up or 4 up?
4 up.
Yeah.
I'm doing a knuckle for a buddy of mine, the whole build. I have a guy who's shipping me his Intalis Panhead stuff, and I'm going to put it all together for him. And I have a 13 Dyna build that I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
So I have a lot of stuff going on right now.
Are you burnt on the Sam Crow Dyna?
Whatever. I mean, it's functional. They work. It's
they work.
It's a bitchin' bike to ride.
Absolutely.
But I'm not really burnt on it. But the Dyna, I'm building more of a full-on Street Fighter style street race bike Dyna, sorta.
Oh, like the turbo bike?
No, not necessarily that. Not necessarily flat track racing, but more just like a Street Fighter.
Right.
Super. Everything's stripped down. High performance suspension. High performance everything. I mean, it's.
What are your favorite suspension? Öhlins?
Öhlins is probably at the top. I mean, it's Öhlins and then K-Tech, which is another company that does full-on cartridge installs for late model and shocks that a buddy of mine, Buddy Shop Mach Modified in New York deals with.
Wow, K-Tech?
And they work real well, yeah.
I never heard of it. Good stuff. Just drop in stuff?
Yeah, I mean, they make the cartridge system is a little bit more difficult, but the shocks they make are amazing.
Right.
I put a couple of those on FXRs for customers, and they work real well.
You follow Harley at all? The new Milwaukee 8 motor?
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I was working at the Harley dealer too a couple years ago, so I'd see all the stuff to deal with, and I'd see all the stuff that people come in, and it's just whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I guess they're still trying, kind of flogging a dead horse. You know, I mean, it's still basically the same technology from 1936.
Yep.
It's no different. They're still trying to do an air cooled motor, and I mean, I get it. I get where they're going from, but they're kind of pushing it to its limit of what you can do with it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny they went back to a 1-cam motor and. But they seem to work. They seem to work real well, though, from what I've heard.
Man, I mean, I rode this motor. If you're a rider, everyday rider, and you just need to like commute and stuff, finally the heat's gone. Because man, those fucking motors are burning up hot, and especially in LA.
Oh yeah, in traffic, absolutely, for sure,
unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the way it shifts now, it's no more clunk clunk. It's just.
Oh, they finally fixed that?
Yeah. There's no clunk at all. It's so
amazing.
weird. And then when it starts now, it must have the automatic compression heads. Must be so good because now it just goes kaboom.
Yeah, and the way the fuel injection, they've pretty much, the fuel injection works real well. The Delphi fuel injection
works great.
It's like a lot of people are anti-fuel injection, but I mean, the X-Wedge that I built for SNS was a fuel injected bike that I built in 07. It was killer. And that kind of opened my eyes to it. And then the turbo bike that I built is fuel injected.
Right.
And that's one of the things I want to do is I want to take an FXR and put late model fuel injection on it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll
do that eventually. But,
that'd be amazing. Because fuel injection to me is just if you're a rider every day, it's
it works. It works killer.
You don't have to sit there and warm up your bike. It's not coughing on the way to work. Just sometimes my bike wouldn't even be warmed up till I got to where I was going.
Yeah, for sure.
That's insane.
No, it works real well.
Now, you shoot a lot of photos. You've been into photos, photography for a while. You shoot film or digital?
Well, I spent most of my time doing digital.
Yeah.
Recently, the past year, I shoot a lot of instant film, the FP100C through a Polaroid lamp camera.
Oh, yeah?
Even though they just discontinued it, but the film itself, but who knows what'll happen with that. But I've also started shooting medium format camera, a Mamiya RB67.
Were you just looking for a camera?
I was looking for a Rolly 35.
Did you find one?
I did. I have one coming that should be here this coming week.
Now, why did you want that camera?
I wanted that camera because it's a 35 millimeter camera.
Yeah.
And the stuff I really want to shoot with it is I want to shoot slide film and have it cross processed. So it's super saturated.
Right.
And I'm not looking for perfect photos of it. I'm looking to shoot a cross processed, oversaturated look.
Right.
And that camera was a camera my dad had in the 80s. That he took thousands of pictures with and loved it.
Wow.
And I want something that's a little more the manual that I really have to work with to shoot with for it. So it's a neat little camera.
How did you get into photography? Like, were you
well, I was shooting lots of kinds of random stuff and shooting bikes and just kind of started with that. And I started shooting bikes. I started shooting girls with bikes and I haven't done as much girl shooting lately as I'd like to.
Right.
But, I still do it off and on and I still shoot a ton of bike stuff, but I've really been shooting more instant stuff than anything lately.
Wow.
I went to Japan, didn't take a single picture of my digital camera.
Is that right?
I took a couple hundred instant pictures, yeah.
Wow.
I'm not really happy with most of them because it was dark as hell in that place.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't dark as hell, but shooting, 100 ASA film indoors is hard.
Yeah.
To get it right.
You got to have high speed for
super high speed to do that, and it's not. So
you take any classes?
Different. Nope, I've never taken a photography class.
Well, do you learn on YouTube or just
No, I just learned from doing it, and I know a lot of really good photographers. That, every person you talk to has some little bit of advice that'll help you.
Yeah.
And I have like random things that people have told me about shooting. It's just like my buddy Steve told me, like with setting up for shooting girl stuff. Your shutter speed is the background, and your aperture is the model.
Yeah.
And that was like it just all clicked for me.
Oh, wow.
I did a bunch of, I read a ton of stuff. I did a bunch of stuff reading all the early Strobus stuff, which is shooting with a single off-camera flash. And that's mainly what I do.
Oh, wow.
Like all the model stuff I shoot is with the camera with a single remote-controlled flash. That's it.
Oh, I get it.
And it gives a really distinct look. And my stuff's generally darker and more, how do I put it, darker and just edgier looking the way it's shadows and harsher than a lot of people. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't really care either way.
Who do you look at as far as photography? Like, do you look at people like, I love Diane Arbus,
there's a ton of killer photographers out there.
Yeah.
It's just, I like to shoot darker stuff. Bob Coulter. My stuff's a lot like his, but a little different.
Right.
But there's a ton of people that shoot fetish stuff, and there's a million bike photographers that are amazing too. There's all kinds of people out there.
Do you sell the photos, or you had calendars, or what do you got?
Well, I used to use a lot of that stuff. I'd put a lot of it online.
I remember.
Now I haven't done as much. I have a lot, and I still put it online, but not as much.
Right.
At some point I'll do something in print. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but at some point I'll do something.
What do you got coming up, man?
Just bike building right now.
Who's painting for you now?
What do you mean?
Who paints your bikes? Do you?
Pac-Man.
Who?
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man?
Yeah, Pac-Man line and letter is his deal online, I think.
Pac-Man.
Yeah, Jack McCann.
Oh, wow. I don't know him. Is that guy Fonzie still around? Remember he did the murals on...
I know who he is, but I don't know him
He
personally.
did the murals on that fucking, the Tarantino bikes, man.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember those.
Holy shit, that guy was insane.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff, like the painters will do that, and they'll have flake and scallops and striping and colors and metal leaf, and I'm like, it's too much.
Yeah, you just like straight paint?
I just like a more simplistic approach to it.
Yeah, I mean, the SUPERFREAK was mad high flake.
Yeah, well, but it was still simple. It wasn't,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it was definitely over the top, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a ton of shit going on.
You miss that bike?
Sometimes.
Yeah, that
You know.
bike was killer. How much you sell it for?
I did okay on it. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
And the guy that owns it, I'm happy he owns it now. So
Is it in LA still? Or oh, wow. Wow, I never see it anywhere. That'd be cool to see it again, man.
Vincent Gallo owns it.
Oh, really? Holy shit. Now, it had no controls on it, like no brakes or anything, right? On the
Well, rear brake.
handlebar?
There's no front brake. Yeah.
No front brake.
Yeah.
Oh, Vincent Gallo owns it?
Yeah. He rides it too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I just saw Bobby had him on the show, Indian Larry's.
Bobby Seeger, yeah.
Yeah. He's a good dude, man.
Yeah, I like Bobby.
He makes some fucking. They got some good shit going on
Yeah.
in there. It's cool to see right in Brooklyn still building. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be in Brooklyn in August or September too for the Brooklyn Invitational
Oh no shit.
that we go out to. We hadn't gone for a couple years, but we're gonna go. We're gonna take Mark's bike out to it this year.
So you're building this bike for Born Free, and it's going to be Mark's bike,
Well, it's Mark's bike, yeah.
right?
And
What kind of tank on it and stuff?
I don't know what we're gonna do for a tank yet. Probably some sort of sporty tank.
You
I don't
make
know.
the tanks or just buy
no.
'em?
Generally, we'll cut them up and finish them and get them basically where they want. Sometimes I'll have someone else do the finish work on them.
Right.
You know, because I'm still not a great sheet metal guy at all. You know, but it depends what it is. Depends
Right.
what we want to do. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet for that stuff yet, but we're actually taking the frame down to Ari with the V Manufacturing in San Diego tomorrow because he's going to rake the frame for us.
Oh, he's going to make the frame.
He's gonna rake
Oh,
it.
rake the frame.
Yeah,
Got
he's-
it.
'cause
Who
it's in a-
made the frame?
It's a Harley frame.
Oh, it's a Harley frame.
Yeah, it's a Harley rigid frame.
Wow, like an old one, or oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool, man.
But we need the backbone needs to be replaced and raking it for the fork. So.
Is this Mark's first bike since he sold the?
Oh no, he's had a couple of bikes, a
Okay.
shovel head chopper and an FXR and a couple other things.
Oh wow,
Yeah, he's
I'm
had a
looking
bunch of
forward to seeing that. When is Born Free?
The end of June.
End of June, man.
Last weekend in June.
You don't got a lot of time left, huh?
No, that's all right. I mean, the motor is at the machine shop right now, and transmission is like I'll take it apart one day, we'll get it polished, put it back together. We already have it, and I already have the bulk of the parts for it. So
You know what the paint's going to be?
that's gonna have some sort of traditional flames. I'm not sure how we're gonna do it yet, though.
Right. Wow. Right on. If you weren't doing choppers, what do you think you'd do?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's not that. Even motorcycles in general, because it's not even just choppers. But
Yeah. Motorcycles.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
There's like, even like everything all the writing I do is motorcycle related. All
Yeah.
the photography I do is motorcycle related. Everything I do on some level is
Yeah.
on that level. I don't know what I do otherwise.
You see anything cool coming up? What do you think? Anything like, to me, it seems like choppers are back now to like riders.
Well, I mean, the traditional choppers generally back. It's been back for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that I've noticed too is the skill level with builders has gotten way better.
right.
With builders,
You're right, man.
It's
Like
gotten way higher. I mean, the skill
Some
level
of that
is
shit at
so
Born
different.
Free, I was like pretty floored. Like,
Oh, there's
who
some
is-
amazing stuff there.
There's a guy in Oakland, man. He made that bike.
Jason Ferris.
Holy
who's
shit.
incredibly talented.
That bike was fucking
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, him and there's a bunch of people.
I couldn't believe his bike, actually. It was
there's
one
a
of
lot
the
of neat
best
bikes.
bikes I've seen in years, man. It was clean, it was
Right.
skinny, and it was just sick.
No, Jason does super nice work.
That guy's
I mean,
great.
the thing is with all that is there's a million builders,
Yeah.
but it's not very many mechanics.
Yeah.
Because the people that anyone can build a bike, but not everyone can deal with it when that bike breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the kind of difference. I mean, there's a million people that have chopper shops that are building choppers, that when something goes wrong, they can't deal with it.
Yeah, and then they
know.
just kind of shoo you away, like, sorry, man.
I mean, there's a lot of shops that do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Then
I
it
mean,
leaves a bad taste in the buyer's
no, absolutely.
mouth.
And it's like, there's a handful of guys that are building bikes that are absolute mechanics too.
Yeah.
So it's weird how the people, like all these crazy bunch of builders that are well-named builders, can't really work on the stuff. They can
Yeah.
build it, but they can't really work on it. So good to know there's still a handful of guys out there that are really working on it.
Yeah. I think more and more people are getting better and better.
Absolutely.
I see some 24-year-old dudes that are just knocking it out.
In the 90s, we had one guy in the valley that would do all our TIG welding.
Oh, wow.
Now everyone and their brother has a TIG welder, and everyone's a good TIG welder. I mean, there's some incredible guys I know that are, in their 20s that can TIG weld circles around me.
Wow.
That's crazy. TIG weld circles around the stuff we were paying the one guy to do for us in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some incredibly skilled people out there. The skill level, like every year, like with Born Free, the skill level with the bikes that are built, it gets higher and higher, and like the bar is raised higher and higher.
It's crazy. Imagine West Coast choppers now. Like if you guys were there and then some young dudes.
Maybe. I don't know. See, I don't see it changing that much.
Right.
I see it being a little bit different, but I know what you're saying.
That's pretty wild.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Well, fuck, man. Thanks for coming and doing the show.
Sweat. Anytime.
Now, you got a website, Chopper Dave's.
ChopperDaves.com is still my main website with everything. You can get to the original website. I mean, I had that website up in 98 in one forum.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, like, oh, man, that's the first place I really saw that stuff online. And that's really cool to hear that. Because a lot of people say that to me. Because it was the only place online where that stuff really was really there. But yeah, the Chopper Days, I got my online store and parts and a photography portfolio and a ton of shit.
What are you selling? You got belt buckles and
I have parts and buckles, and my wife is actually stepping in now and starting to work for me a couple days a week to revamp all the apparel stuff I'm doing.
Right.
Because I'm doing 4 more new shirts right now and hats and a bunch of new stuff.
That stuff's still selling good?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that stuff's still, it's like, everyone has the money to buy parts. No one has a bike, but they want a t-shirt.
Right.
And that's, people like t-shirts. I'm a t-shirt whore. I love t-shirts.
God, I got a fucking...
And I can't get rid of them.
I got a bedroom full of them, man. It's unbelievable.
I have hefty bags full of t-shirts I don't want to throw away.
What is that? Isn't it fucking crazy? Like, I see a shirt and I go, I haven't worn this in 8 years. Got to keep it.
Yeah, and I couldn't for a while because I was a lot bigger, and I'm losing weight right now, so I'm excited to be able to pull the XLs back out again.
What are you doing to lose weight?
Just watching what I eat, just counting calories that I eat.
Yeah, I quit sugar and flour and white rice. Lost 36 pounds.
Yeah, see, I've lost 23 pounds since I got back from Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, I weighed more than I'd ever weighed in my life in Japan and came home and was sick for a week, and it was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But it's been super easy. My deal is portion control. My wife is an amazing cook. She'll make these casseroles with like chili and pasta and cheese and sour cream and all this shit that I can eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where before, I'd have one piece and then she'd eat half of hers and one of the kids would eat half of theirs and I'd finish theirs and then eat the rest of it. And now I'm having one piece.
Yeah.
But somehow something clicked in Japan.
Yep.
And I'm like, it has to change and it's easy now.
Yeah.
I'm eating salads. Like I had an egg roll from Jack in the Box. It's one of my go-to easy things.
An egg roll from Jack in the Box?
Is the chicken fajita pita, which is their healthiest thing they have, pretty much. And they're good, and it's no big deal. But I was looking at some calorie thing, and like one of the lower things was the egg roll at Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll try one. And I used to love them, and I couldn't even eat it because it was so greasy.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's...
I haven't had Jack in the Box in maybe 25 years.
But the chicken fajita pita, there's a decent sandwich. But,
hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, no, and then Aki and I barbecue 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Just chicken in front of the shop.
I love that guy.
So do I. He's awesome.
He's so great. Talk about a straight shooter.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite
I love him.
people.
He'll just be like, fuck that guy. Yeah, he bullshit. He's so
yeah, no, Aki's a good dude.
He's great, man.
But that, and the waist is coming off, and I'm just watching it. It's just, I don't eat everything. I'm hardly eating any I might have a Red Bull. That's like the one sugar thing I'll have. Once a little can.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
I don't want to have more than one a day. But it's not that much sugar in a Red Bull. Coke is 3 times the sugar.
Oh, it's gross.
And I can't even drink that stuff anymore. I can't deal with the taste. The Red Bull I still like, so I'll have one of those maybe.
Yep.
But I'm not cutting everything out because I don't want to be pissed off that I can't eat this or that.
Yeah.
But I might have a tiny bit of this, tiny bit of that. But it's somehow it's been easy for me somehow.
Yeah, me too. It was like at first it was fucking a nightmare, man. I quit sugar. I went through mad withdrawals. I fucking was angry. I was sleepy. I was burnout, hungry, all these fucking bad emotions and stuff. And now it's been about 8 months and I'm just like, I feel great.
Yeah, see, I didn't really go through any of that because I didn't cut anything out cold turkey.
Right.
It came down to portion control, but now it's like I hardly eat any bread.
Yeah,
I have a little bit of pasta here and there, a little bit of rice here and there.
Yeah.
I'll have that one Red Bull, if anything, and that's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm having salads or chicken or fish or whatever.
Well, shit, man, thank you so much for doing the show. And go see Dave at Born Free and also the Brooklyn Invitational.
Yeah, and we're going to go out to Mama Tried, too. I'm going out to Mama Tried
next
month. Show in Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
Which is killer because that show they have flat track racing for indoor flat track racing
Whoa.
Friday night.
Yeah.
Where you race on Pepsi syrup, so because the ground's super sticky.
What, Pepsi syrup?
Yeah, they put it down, let it dry, and it's super sticky.
What?
Yeah, it's a killer.
That's insane.
Yeah,
So no dirt?
No dirt.
Is it on concrete?
Yeah, concrete that's sprayed with the syrup and let it dry. It's super sticky.
Now, you guys are racing in Long Beach, right? Are you guys doing that? Or who's doing the flat track, and where is that?
Well, there's a bunch of that. Well, it's like the...
Yeah, like Roland and those guys.
Well, yeah,
are doing that, right?
it's a bunch of places around that are doing it.
Yeah.
Paris, Del Mar.
Are you doing any of that?
Absolutely. I'm trying to. Both of my race bikes are down right now.
Yeah.
Hell on Wheels is putting out a bunch of races. There was a race yesterday. But my Triumph is going out to Milwaukee, and I'm racing my Triumph in Milwaukee Friday night.
When is that show?
Weekend of the 17th February.
Oh, wow.
And it's killer because that show is indoor flat track racing Friday night, and then the show Saturday and Sunday, and then ice racing outdoors on Sunday.
Oh, shit.
Which is amazing. I did that last year.
I
My
saw
knuckle.
that. I saw your
That
shit
was
last
the
year.
absolute funnest day I've ever had on a motorcycle.
Now, spikes in the tires?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Was going full throttle on ice and throwing it into turns and the bike just sticking. It was the funnest I've ever done. It's the funnest thing I've ever done on a motorcycle.
How do you learn that shit? Just crashing?
You just go. I never crashed. I mean, I only did it the one day.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just do it. And it was fun as shit because there's no wheel spin at all.
Unbelievable.
You go into the turn, it doesn't stip out. I mean, my buddy Adam sent me a set of tires that have, each of them has over 1,000 studs in it.
Oh, my God.
And it was just like Velcro. It was awesome.
And you're
It was
riding
so
what,
much
a
fun.
Triumph on that?
No, I was riding my knuckle last year on that. But this year
knuckle.
I'll riding, I have a 56
that
TR6.
Born Loser knuckle?
The lovely loser.
Lovely Loser, that one?
Well, that's my race bike now. Yeah, that's what I raced last year out there.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I have a 56 Triumph TR6C that's going out to Milwaukee, and I'm racing that indoors
Wow.
in the brakeless class. Yeah.
Brakeless class. So when you go into the turn, do you just downshift and pitch it?
Oh no, you're pretty much in one gear the whole time.
One gear the whole
Yeah.
time. Like what like
You just push into depends how short the track is.
Right.
Like Costa Mesa racing the track there, you're in first gear the whole time.
first gear the whole time?
First or second, possibly
Right.
second. But like Del Mar, you'll shift in a second, or Paris, you're in second, the whole thing in second.
No brake. So you're just rolling off or downshifting?
You just roll off.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Roll off and just push into the turn as hard as you can.
Unbelievable, man.
And the syrup isn't very forgiving.
Yeah.
If it's either super sticky or if it's not.
Who
And for
came
the
up
most
with
part,
that,
it is.
I wonder?
Well, they've done it for a long time.
Wow.
You know, my buddy Dustin and Noah and Stevie went out and raced in Vegas at South Point years ago when it was running on Dr. Pepper syrup.
Dr. Pepper
but
syrup.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
But you go in there and this whole place smells like sugar. It's pretty funny.
Unbelievable.
But yeah,
man.
Mama Tried's an incredible show. It's amazing.
And is it a bike show also?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is it vintage bikes? Harley?
All kinds of stuff. But then it's the Harley Museum is there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. Milwaukee, and it's all close. It's a killer weekend.
Wow.
I mean, that I'm super stoked to go back to.
Wow. I'd like to see that. I didn't even know
killer.
about that
Yeah,
show.
it's killer.
You think it's the best one in the States?
Well, one of them,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, it's the most fun I've had at an event like that.
Right.
With the most different stuff going on, easy to deal with.
That's fucking cool,
You know, the
man.
Brooklyn Invitational's killer.
Yeah.
It's right there in Brooklyn, and Born Free is Born Free.
Yeah,
Born
yeah.
Free is a little overkill.
Yeah.
But it's become what it is, and I'm stoked that it is what it is. 'Cause
I love
like it
Born
now.
Free, man.
I mean, Born Free is what kind of got me back into it again.
Yeah.
And I thank Mike and Grant for putting on a killer show that does that.
Yeah. I really like Born Free.
It's fun.
I enjoy the last year. The bikes were just blowing my fucking.
Oh yeah, no,
they blew my mind
That's
last
the
year.
thing. It gets more and more over the top every year.
I love everything they do too, like all the setup videos of the invited builders, and
for sure.
And you learn so much about these guys. Like, who's this guy? You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's fucking cool, man. Well, thanks for doing the show. You
Absolutely.
got the podcast. You got an Instagram.
Chopper Daves.
Chopper Dave.
I'm Chopper Daves everywhere.
Everywhere.
On every social media, whatever. It's just
Yeah.
Chopper Daves.
And it's great to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. Been a while.
It's been years. And follow him, everybody. Don't forget to leave a review and subscribe to the podcast if you're a new listener on iTunes. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. See you later.